Hey,
pal.
Hi.
Hello, Katie.
Katie, you want water or anything?
Yeah, I would love one. Thank you.
The throwing your phone onto a table
Tired.
is
Me
a
too.
power move.
Is this what people with kids are like all the time?
I was telling Pablo I have construction in my house, so I'm awake all the time. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. We're all sleeping on an air mattress. Mattress.
Just put a mattress on the floor.
Well, we can't really get to our mattress.
All right. That sucks.
There's a lot of moving parts. Don't I not need headphones? Didn't we establish this last time?
We do
No,
for
what? You do
we
headphones.
do for what we're here to do
okay,
today because we have some clips.
All right.
We got some clips.
You're too good for headphones. You're a headphones guy. Is it a hair thing?
It's not a hair thing.
It's a vanity thing.
It's a vanity. It is a vanity thing.
What's the vanity if
Thank
not the
you.
hair?
I don't love
general vibe.
I don't love.
You look too committed when you're wearing headphones. You want to
We're
look
just trying too hard.
casual.
God forbid.
We're really trying too hard.
All right, Pablo, what's up? You called us here today.
We
What do you
did.
want?
We did. So I suppose football is part of the premise here. And so Kevin, as a person who hosts a show called This Is Football, I wanted Katie and I to examine something that you present us as we wonder, what is football now? So what's the story that you brought us?
By the way, check out Troy Aikman on This Is Football this week. He really brought it.
Wow.
He really brought
Does
it.
he still look like Jay-Z?
Yeah.
That's more of your domain.
Are you aware that the internet thinks you look like Jay-Z?
Yes, I am aware of that. A white Jay-Z. There was a meme it still pops up on my feed from time to time. It was some game. Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in the south of France this summer.
That's very
So
Jay-Z.
he's got an expensive tan?
He's got an expensive tan.
Yeah.
He looks great. He
Great.
looks
Good for him.
phenomenal.
Oh, good for him.
He did a thing. He said he was with his adult daughters, and he said, cherish the childhood experience because it goes fast, and then
Right.
all of a sudden you're in the south of France getting
Yeah.
tanned with your adult
Sounds
daughters.
awful.
So this weekend, the NFL starts, and
Crazy. It snuck up on me. I know you guys like you, but it snuck up on me.
Yeah.
I was like, it's this week.
she didn't go to the owners' meetings this year,
There's
so
a
she wasn't
Friday
locked
game
in.
this week?
It's in Brazil.
Oh, okay. See, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this whole Twitter
It's a
thing.
time zone thing, maybe?
Yeah, Twitter's
It just feels like you can't
Well,
just take a day and go, we do Fridays now.
Part of it is it's not a time zone thing because Brazil, it's
Yeah,
straight
no,
down.
it's a time. Kevin,
It's
I'm
more of a
pretty.
travel
Kevin,
thing.
I'm pretty sure it's a time.
It's a travel. It's like a 13-hour
I know,
flight,
I
right?
know. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I thought it was a different time
The point
zone.
being, though, that football is every day of
There's
the week
also
now.
a
There's
ton
no
of
Saturday,
there's also
right?
a ton of
This
fake news about this game. I don't know if you guys have followed this. One of the players said that he plays for the Packers, and he said that the NFL told them they couldn't wear green because Brazil is so dangerous, and the NFL was like, "That is not true. We did not tell them that."
Is that
And
like
now-
that rumor about how if you wore a certain wristband, it
Yeah.
meant that as a kid you were inviting sexual predators to prey upon you?
Yes.
It's slightly different, but same genre. And then the other day I saw a thing that was like they said we can't leave our hotel rooms, which also seems fake. I have not gotten confirmation that's fake, but it seems fake. But there's a lot of fake news about this game. Anyway,
No way.
the thing I brought, there's 6 quarterbacks from the first round who are either going to make their debut or will make their debut soon. And what I think is the defining characteristic of this era is the transfer portal. And if you look at the 6 quarterbacks who went in the first round, 4 of them are transfer portal products, but 3 of them were direct results of the transfer portal. Jaden Daniels at Arizona State does not go second overall. He might not even get drafted. Bo Nix is real old. He is like the 5th oldest rookie week 1 starter ever, and the guys ahead of him were in the Army. Or in minor league baseball.
I keep on reading these Bo Nix stories, and everyone's like, he played 50 or 60 college games as his defining
Well, no, it was
characteristic.
Roger Staubach was older because he was
Shout
serving,
out Roger Staubach.
He was serving our
Why
country.
are we shouting out
I
Roger?
love
Okay.
him. He's
And
such
then
a
Maybe it was
sweetie.
the
Brandon
patriotism.
Whedon and Chris Winkie were just playing minor league baseball for years. Bo Nix was just being old. And I call them Dr. Quarterbacks because they just spent so long playing. Jaden Daniels threw a touchdown pass to Brandon Ayuk to beat Justin Herbert in college. So it's a COVID year, it's NIL. Bo Nix, if he had not found the transfer portal, would be doing an occupation that
You said selling insurance.
I bet 100.
You said selling insurance.
I did
Bringing
sell
you guys flatbreads.
selling insurance. There's an enterprise rental car counter that's empty right now with his name on it.
You know, you used to have a college degree to do enterprise rental counter. Did you know that?
Well, Bo Nix has
I wonder
one.
if that's
How do
still
you
the
know
case.
that?
I don't know.
Bo Nix
It's just
definitely
one of those
has
things you
one. He's
pick
been
up.
there a while
Yeah,
in
yes,
college, so
right.
hopefully he's got a couple
Well, you can
degrees.
go for a long time and not get a degree.
Imagine how
Just ask
impressed
Bert Kreischer.
enterprise rental car would be by Bo Nix's education. And so, point being is that I think this is, and it's starting again this year. We're seeing guys already like
Yes.
Cam Ward at Miami,
Your guy.
who are doing 1 or 2 year stops.
You know, you're talking to somebody who does not watch college football. I felt really guilty sitting here listening
Yeah.
and going and nodding like I'm
well,
half
I'm
getting
gonna
what
bring
you're
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
bring it back.
Miami's
So,
own Cam Ward.
Miami's own Cam Ward as of a few months ago. He used to be Pullman, Washington's
Washington
own,
State's
and before
Cam
that,
Ward.
Incarnate Words. And I'm starting to think more. Quarterbacking now is becoming more of a reflection of the actual college experience, which is if you don't like your surroundings, you can transfer until it starts working. I actually transferred from DePaul to the University of Miami for professional reasons, and it sounds like quarterbacks are doing that now too. And so I'm starting to wonder, like, is there even such thing as a quarterback prospect? Because if these guys were all born 15 years earlier, or even 5 years earlier, they would not have gotten these opportunities in these offenses. They would not have found these coaches, and they would have been doing something completely different than being a first-round pick. Now, again, some of them might have had NFL careers, but not like this. Bo Nix was the most accurate quarterback in history last year because he stayed that long in college. Again, COVID year, but he also stayed because of NIL, and he found the Oregon offense, which wouldn't have been possible just a few years ago. And so it is becoming professionalized, certainly. But then beyond that, it is becoming this thing where you can find your destiny in college in a way you could never before. You can find these shotgun marriages and they work.
So Katie was asking before, like, is there actually the NFL on Saturdays?
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because of college football, yeah.
Yeah, and the transfer portal, right? So just to recap, because I think, Katie, the reason why I want you here beyond wanting you here whenever you're available is because I'm just catching myself. It was because I do think people need to sort of be caught up to speed on what the is happening in college football.
Sure.
Because the transfer portal as a concept was this thing that drove Nick Saban out of the sport, in part, on top of NIL, on top of all these other changes coming to quote-unquote amateurism. And it was wildly criticized, the transfer portal was, as ruining this thing we all loved. And now when you're looking at how it's helped these quarterbacks on the teams that we are watching most intently, it's clear that this has been the thing that has actually shaped not just those quarterbacks' careers, but these teams for the better. And what's funny to me is that, of course, it was going to be like this.
Of course.
But the premise was all of these guys are just delusional divas who are just going to want to change. It's a Goldilocks system where no one will ever be satisfied. And instead, you mentioned Bo Nix and you mentioned Cam Ward. These are guys who followed their coaches to other places. And so the coaches who always had freedom of movement.
I was going to say coaches who could always go wherever and whenever they wanted to.
Perpetually had the
Goldilocks.
access to a transfer portal of this is too cold, this is not hot enough. They got to bring their players along with them. And to Kevin's point, we're just getting to see guys that would otherwise be in the dustbin of college football history. And now they are showing up in the NFL, seemingly in ways that are changing that sport too.
Are you saying, to understand your point, that like the performance of this class now will dictate sort of anything in the future of
What
like
I'm
we need
saying,
them to do
no,
well to prove
What I'm
that,
saying is that there was a dearth of quarterbacks, great quarterbacks for the past 100 years. And I think there's going to be way more in the future than we think because you're going to be able to find your level. It's almost a little bit like how, like, this is a crazy analogy that I'm coming up with, and I'm way over my skis here. But like nowadays,
another analogy to explain the analogy.
That's
that he's
the
not
Apple Podcast summary of This Is Football.
So it's a bit like how like entertainment has become democratized, like on YouTube and TikTok, and anybody can become famous overnight.
Now we're in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and so for me, if you're a quarterback and you'd say, damn, if I could only get in that offense, if I could only get in that with that coach, if I could only play with that wide receiver, you can do it now. You can do it. And you may not be a starter or whatever, but like, you can find your destiny. It used to be, Katie, if you went to University of Florida and the coaching staff sucked.
Right. And or the coach left.
Or
You're
the
stuck
coach left.
there and
Or
you have to wait a year
somebody
and
else
lose a year.
won the job.
Yeah.
You would just sit there and be like, well, that's it for me. Time to become a high school coach. Gave it a good run. Now you can leave. Now you can, the coaches are under more pressure to fix things because players can leave. It was funny. I asked a GM last summer, I said, how's the portal changing things? He said two things. First of all, he said the same thing I said, which is it's a net positive because people are finding a home where, like, Matt Castle is a good example, right? Matt Castle sat on USC's bench for 4 years, got drafted, was fine in the NFL. But if Matt Castle were born in 2009, he would have gone and played at UCLA or Stanford or Cal, and we would have had a better valuation. But what the GM said is two things. He said, number one, coaches do not break players down to build them back up. So you used to de-recruit at the college level. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart would get these guys on campus after 6 months of saying you are the best prospect in the world and say you are nothing. You are the ninth string quarterback. You do not matter at all, right? And that's how you start to build them back up.
Awful.
They cannot do that anymore.
I can name places that do that. I know of other places that do things.
If they
like
had the portal at those jobs in media, you could just leave.
Stop pointing at me so aggressively.
And so now, if you de-recruit a kid at Georgia, he can go, cool, I'm going to go play at South Carolina, where they're going to be
I don't
nicer
need to
me.
take this.
Which is what
You
it should,
can't
as a
lie.
person, again, isn't watching any college football. It's what it should be because then that other team can have a quarterback and you can have a more parity in the league, correct?
But also
You can't lie to kids.
And those kids, and this is not just like touchy-feely, I'm pro player stuff, although, whatever. They reveal themselves to actually be good.
Yes.
And not just a function of a system. Like, actually good.
Coaches in the past used to just tell blatant lies. Like famously in Bruce Feldman's book, Meat Market, Jevon Sneed is a quarterback who ended up elsewhere, but he was at Texas and Ole Miss. And he was recruited, I believe, committed at one point to Florida. So it's the same year as Tim Tebow. And all the Tebow hype is starting, and Jevon Sneed, very good quarterback in his own right, says to Urban Meyer, hey, I'm hearing a lot about Tim Tebow. And Urban Meyer says, I wouldn't worry about it, man. He's going to play linebacker for us. Just lying. Just literally just lying.
Urban
And
Meyer?
so there would be...
Is he talking about the Urban Meyer I know?
There would be no recourse back then except to sit for a year.
Yeah.
A team could block your transfer. There were all sorts of things. Now you can just go, cool, I'll be here for 4 months and then I'm out of here. The other thing that the GM said, which is a huge change, is how often now college players for the first time are saying to teams, what can you do for me?
Ooh, I bet they love that.
Because they hate it a lot. But for the first time, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds are actually, we talk about the player empowerment era, and we never know what we're talking about. It means it's like, oh, these guys can go now force trades from the Rockets.
No,
it's like,
they have Instagram.
Yeah,
that's player empowerment.
But what's actual player empowerment is saying, you can't lie to me. And also, like, and not to get into the Jada Rashada thing, which we've all talked about, is like, you can now probably, because there's finances involved, say, oh, by the way, if you lie to me, I'll see you in court.
I'm going to sue the head coach of the University of Florida.
College football for 100 years is my favorite thing in the world, but it is run on lies and bullshit.
That's actually why I don't like it.
That's why I like it.
Yeah,
actually.
that's why he only likes the scammy part of it. That's
I do.
Really, when he's saying he wants there to be guardrails, it means he needs more scams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
When people say we want more guardrails, what does that mean? Because nobody's collectively bargained with these kids. Nobody has said, hey, we'll give you X. People are like, oh, there has to be a cap. Okay, negotiate that because the NFL has a salary cap. And in return, the NFL players get a lot. They get a lot.
Well, don't you need a union to negotiate?
Correct.
Yeah.
So there can't be guardrails until there's a union.
Yeah.
Surprise.
And when's that going to, so how long till that happens?
Well, right now, NCAA is now trying to force through a CBA with no union, basically.
Yeah, this settlement to the antitrust lawsuit, which we've covered on the show previously. The point is we're getting piecemeal towards professionalism without the guardrails quite yet.
But all this to say
yeah.
is that the transfer portal is actually going to create better football, not worse, a better product.
Better for fans.
And Roger Goodell should be thanking everybody. And by the way, ratings are up everywhere. But the college game is going to get better, not worse, because of the portal. And because of NIL, they'll stay an extra year. They get $700,000, $800,000 to stay an extra year, and they'll say, hey, I like my environment, whatever.
Which is beneficial because I feel like every time you get a rookie quarterback coming in, they're like, hey, it's better to be behind a guy who knows what he's doing. It's like, yeah, or stay in college for another year would have been beneficial.
Would you have stayed in college another year if you could have? If somebody paid you to stay in college?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. I would still be in college. No, I don't know. I didn't like it that much.
Was there anybody offering to pay you to just and not enter the workforce, Pablo?
My parents, who are like, we would like you to become a literal doctor.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm going to talk about how doctors are metaphors now for quarterbacks. Does that get me to
it's
your
doing
love?
But it's doing well. It's working out.
It is doing well.
Doing what you should be doing.
It is doing well.
The whole thing, though, of like, what is the story when it comes to these individual quarterbacks? It is praiseworthy, the story. Like, it's saleable to America and parents across America. The idea of you started with, so again, the Cam Ward thing. He was what used to be called a 1AA quarterback at a school I did not know existed.
Incarnate Word. And he basically traded the paperclip of Incarnate Word up and up and up to Washington State, now to Miami. And it's just an American success story. You started Incarnate Word, and then 4.5 years later, you're at Florida Field in front of 90,000 people.
In front of a drunk Kevin Clark.
And Mike Ryan.
Incarnate means human form, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what a word, incarnate.
Katie,
has a lot. I believe it has something to do with Jesus.
Katie
The word
stopped reading the Bible famously
I did.
in the Old Testament.
Everybody takes
Is
a
that
break.
true?
Everybody takes a break. Somebody actually told me that
Jesus
they
took
were
a break,
proud.
actually.
Yeah. On the seventh day he rested. That was God.
That was God.
But they're the same. They're the Holy Trinity. I'm not in the New Test yet.
You might even say
I'm Old
he
Test.
is incarnate.
That's I guess. And that's back to what we were saying. Anyway, go ahead.
San Antonio is where that school is. Just for the record.
yeah.
Fun.
Here.
Good to
He's
know
from-
because that'll come up, I'm sure, at some point.
Cam Ward is from Texas.
I can't even really blame college coaches for not seeing Cam Ward as obviously a Heisman candidate, as he was coming out of high school in Texas, because he wasn't throwing the ball. They were running like the whatever it was, single wing, which is crazy in 2020, whatever it was when he was there. But it's just, as you say, it's more snaps, it's more ability to evaluate somebody. And the NFL, like the NBA is dealing with this nightmare, right? Of like, we're getting these professionals and no one knows who the they are.
Correct.
So the whole thing about like, what's bad about people not caring about college basketball if you love the NBA? I don't care about college basketball, I only love the NBA. The problem is that you don't know who these people are when they show up. And college football provides not just an unparalleled platform for college students to show their wares to their employers, but it also gets them better at the same time. And now I care about Cam Ward.
I completely agree with you. I think that the way the NFL evaluates quarterbacks to begin with, if any other industry were as bad at identifying the number one talent needed, there would be a crisis. The NFL has no soul searching whatsoever. By the way, they just keep doing the same thing.
I can think of a couple other.
And so
I can't. They come right to mind.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to gloss right over that, and we're going to get to the fact that, like, Joe Burrow had this amazing clip. I actually just saw it a couple weeks ago where he said that you look at Mahomes and Josh Allen, played on crappy college teams where they had to put the team on their back all the time. And he said he thought that those guys were supernaturally gifted because of that experience at knowing how to win. And that's why they win at the NFL level. And then a lot of guys, if they go to Georgia, if they go to USC, if they go to Florida State, whatever, they're up like 21 points all the time. Life is easy.
Unless you're Florida State
Unless you're Florida State right now. And so
even I know they're bad.
And I think that the quarterback developmental system has been so broken. They're bringing Cam Ward up to the highest level of football and see how he wins, see how he operates. I think it's democratizing the position, and I think we're going to see way. I mean, the whole thing is broke. Like all these kids, there's a lot of these quarterbacks who go to the right camps because they have the right parents, and they spend $4,000 to go to XYZ camp, and then the UCF coach sees him, and then he gets offered by Georgia Tech, and all of a sudden he's a power four quarterback, right? And that is the broken part of it. And now that kid never gets to play because an actual good kid whose parents didn't go to all the right camps gets to take his job.
Right.
God bless America.
It just sounds like coaches are going to hate this.
Yeah,
They do.
That's what the money's for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what you'd think, but they've always been getting that money, right? So
Yeah, well, now it's a
they're
different
not
job.
like, oh, they're going to want more. That's the problem with everything. It's
You're
like
going to
we
need to
started-
maybe have a bar restaurant where maybe you stay, a day later while the rest of your team travels on, where you can sit on a bar stool as somebody, leaves no room for the Holy Ghost. As
no
it were.
room at all.
No.
There was contact.
A lot of illegal. Well, no.
Well, easy, Pablo. I don't know. But it wasn't, all I'll say is there was contact.
Yeah.
There was no space.
Yeah.
Incarnate Word.
I wanted to also talk about football.
Yeah.
But the kind that the world cares about.
Soccer? Oh, you were genuinely meaning soccer. I was like,
Katie,
I thought I was doing a bit.
Great prep.
Oy
Great
vey.
prep for
My
the
bad.
show. No. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Who's that?
Yeah, great question. The most followed person in the world. What does this mean? Great question. All I know is that the dude has like literally 600 million Instagram followers and just broke the record for 1 million YouTube subs in the shortest amount of time.
Is that the most? Oh, the shortest
It was
amount
like
of
the
time.
day he made the channel.
In
So
90
within 6 hours or something.
90 minutes.
Oh my God.
90 minutes.
I've never seen a tweet,
No.
an Instagram post. I've never gone, let me see what Cristiano Ronaldo's got to say.
This was my issue with this as I was wondering, like, why is Cristiano Ronaldo the greatest host of a sports show by the numbers in the history of the medium, apparently?
Wait, does he have an actual show?
Well,
Or is it just a channel?
I'm so glad you asked.
Oh, great.
This is a project that we've been thinking about for many years, but now we have the opportunity. It's become real, and I'm very, very happy and very excited. So many years of football. I think it's an ideal platform for me to be able to share a little of my life, my things, and really original, organic content.
It's guaranteed success. I have no doubt.
It's crazy, though. Well, let's all just elephant in the room. It's crazy. She looks just like me. We look so alike. We're both. That's so crazy. You found like my
I
doppelganger.
don't know which one to shoot.
I thought when you were that was a lot like my episode with Aikman this morning. A lot like
Yeah, you were in a room decorated
Looked
with.
And we talked about how
Did
the
we
show
say?
is a guaranteed success.
Shot beautifully.
organic content.
Organic content.
Looked gorgeous, right? Beautiful. Nice cameras.
good Lord.
Beautiful
15
shot.
million people watched that, I believe.
What
15?
did they say? What were they talking
Well,
about?
so you may notice that the version you get, as maybe this is just the American, the ugly American here who gets this treatment, but you
Don't
get
be
it
ethnocentric.
dubbed. You get it dubbed. You get it dubbed by these voices, and it doesn't help me understand really anything about who this guy is
No.
or really what this content, quote unquote, it's just disconcerting to watch the guy who is the voice actor for Cristiano Ronaldo say the words organic content.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like that is the nature of the fact that you don't speak the language that he's
Yeah.
speaking.
No, which is
And
total.
the guy is a international star,
But the point being,
more than any of us.
how dare you?
I know.
The point is, when it comes to like who he is, Kevin is a soccer fan. I've been to Brazil, as it turns out, to like
Whoa.
cover the World Cup.
How are the time zones?
Shut up, Kevin.
They were violent. But I
The
was
jet
at these
lag was
games.
crazy.
I was at these games watching Ronaldo play. I've been at various events where he's been. I just, if you were to tell me, what is his YouTube channel going to be like?
Yeah.
I would struggle. But I think my brain might have spat out a version of what we just saw, which is some version of a press release, but sort of like puppeteered into some simulation of a human interaction.
This makes me think of who was it that was on Las Culturistas and said authenticity is expensive? I want to say it was Tina Fey.
Okay.
Cristiano Ronaldo already has so many people listening, and he is saying nothing. It does not behoove him to say anything.
Like the question,
The benefit,
Yes.
you have the eyeballs, you'll get the ads sold against the numbers for the content. Just say nothing, and they're not going to turn on you.
No.
They don't care what you say. They're kind of just performing a fandom for you. So just, of course, this is a money grab. But what bugs me is that they use those same numbers to evaluate who's listening or
Yeah.
who's learning or who's gaining something from the content. And it's like,
we
he's
are
not
competing.
really making anything.
We are competing with
He's
this
not
man.
making anything. I'm sorry. But the thing that made him really good at what he's really good at is the same thing that makes him very bad at what you're really good at.
Well, I think we should listen to Cristiano Ronaldo
You're
in
right.
his voice.
Sorry. Let's hear it from him.
Explain.
Sorry.
you.
Go ahead.
We know as the press how it works. If you speak good, don't sell. You have to speak bad. It's normal. And if you speak about Cristiano, you're coming in the first page. It's normal. Because I'm the most followed guy in the world. It's not only because of my pretty face, but in everything, you know? Why Cristiano is the #1 follower in the world? Why? Why do you think? Many things.
There's goals,
Football,
trophies.
So is Rio Ferdinand, is that gentleman there? Is he the first guest or is he a regular on this show?
I believe he is the first guest / guest host that enabled me to hear English.
I like the way he asked. He couldn't tell if he was being asked why. When he was like, why is he the most followed in the world? And then the pause was long enough that he was like,
Chowface.
Chowface. He's nice.
Chowface. It did feel rhetorical.
It did feel rhetorical.
All of this kind of feels rhetorical.
I've been talked in a circle. I don't understand what anyone's trying to communicate to
I
me.
watched every video on this channel.
How long did that take you?
It felt like a million years.
Wow.
I think it was like 30 minutes.
There's a couple things here. I was going to talk about how high the bar is to have a good player podcast. There is one, like Roy Keane has one in soccer that is very, very funny because Roy Keane, kind of as they call him, a hard man. You know, he has all these stories about getting in fights and punching people and waiting for people in parking lots, and he goes through all of his red cards and says this guy deserved it.
Awesome.
Very, very funny.
In on that.
But there's also something with credibility where, and I'll give you a great example. If Ronaldo says something about anybody currently playing, so like I'm a big Tottenham Hotspur fan. If he says like, man, Son is the best player in the world, I'm going to smash that RT and be like, hell yeah, look at what Ronaldo says, right? And you're seeing that actually. So in Gainesville on Saturday, Nick Saban picked, I was in Gainesville on Saturday. Nick Saban picked Miami to beat Florida. I was in line at a Cava, no big deal. And there were a couple.
It's a Cava? Is that what you said?
A Cava?
Yeah,
like a Mediterranean bowl place.
Like a Mediterranean
I was
Chipotle.
just trying to eat
Great.
healthy before.
Did you get the pita crisps in it?
Yeah,
I did. Love
I did.
flatbread.
I did. And so there were like a couple Miami fans in Gainesville, and Saban picked Miami, and like it was like the buzz of the line at Cava. And it's because Nick Saban, who has so much credibility, said something nice about something we like. And so I think that that's also part of it, is like you're always going to be in the news cycle if you're Ronaldo. And so you get to pass the line of player podcasts and go right to the top.
You can print those graphics, those quote graphics.
To like LeBron, right? Where it's like LeBron sends a tweet about someone random and it's like, oh my God, LeBron reacts, right? You get to be in rarefied air and you get to make news whenever, whereas Roy Keane has to go through all his career red cards in order to make that kind of news. We may not get there.
No, well, but with Ronaldo, it does feel like the most interesting thing about him, beyond him actually as a player, and again, whatever, is he better than Messi? No, but is he an entertaining person who, when he weighs in on, there was another clip where he weighed in on how the English Premier, this is a separate thing, like the English Premier League is the hardest league in the world, and he said, yes, it is. And like, okay, meaningful.
That is meaningful. That's
right?
meaningful.
It's a way for me to be closer to my fans, to my people.
What's that logo?
It is you are.
Right, and it means?
You are Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, I'm not.
Well,
that's what UR stands for on that logo. Is
URCR?
URCR.
No, I'm not.
We're not going to do that.
No, I'm not.
We're not doing that.
But that kind of speaks to the whole thing about what he thinks is interesting about himself, which is
that me? He thinks I'm what's interesting about him?
He thinks that everybody wants to bask in the bigness of him, in him as a concept, like the most followed thing being this defining characteristic. I don't blame him for finding that itself the prime directive of this entire mission to start this show. It is fascinating, and yet the most boring thing in the world. Like everybody wants to be him, true, online, hosting shows, and yet like, what do I actually want to hear him say?
The thing, he needs a rebrand. He needs a rebrand. And if I was him, I would rebrand it more like a Mamba mentality thing, because the stories I've always heard and seen in some of the documentaries, Ronaldo does a step over that everybody thinks is superfluous, but he's like, no, he does one thing like 17,000 times over the course of a season. He's meticulous in it, and then all of a sudden it shows up and it's not superfluous. It matters, right? And same with like in the Juventus documentary a couple years ago when he was on that team, like they showed him just shooting at the net like over and over and over again, and the coaches were like, wow, he really shoots a lot because he's trying to score, and he's the best goal scorer of all time, and like that doesn't come easy, right? And
worked very hard, I'm sure.
Right. And so, but what Kobe did was he made that into his brand. Like instead of saying like, and Kobe had much better stories than Cristiano Ronaldo apparently does.
It's not close.
But he made the entire persona about the work. And so then you become winner guy.
You speak at business conferences.
Exactly. Bitcoin conferences.
Ronaldo happened to also be involved with Binance as a side matter.
Binance?
Binance. It was
Like Bitcoin finance? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
it was one of the biggest crypto disaster stories.
Because I saw a commercial for crypto, and I'm like, never seen a commercial for money before.
Yeah.
How is this not immediately like, I don't think this is going to be the thing?
Which does feel appropriate, though, for this guy. Ronaldo, and by the way, so the Kobe thing is also relevant insofar as here is somebody who figured out the branding of him while never being consensus the greatest of all time. Yeah. And also has a part of his Wikipedia page where you're like, oh, let's scroll down to that part and talk about that briefly just to acknowledge that, legal issues involving women are a part of this. And it's not good. It's not good. But, Katie, as you continue to, not be into this content, Cristiano Ronaldo wants you to know that he has a great relationship with his wife.
Are you throwing to a clip?
Maybe.
You are, baby.
Georgina Rodriguez, are you ready for the third question? Why are you so pretty? It wasn't there, I swear. Today, I'm gonna have a chat with Gio. But to make it more fun, let's play a game. Scary. What makes you the most angry when you read things about yourself?
The lies. They make me really angry, whether I read them or hear them. And injustice.
Very good. Great answer.
It goes on like that for a while.
Isn't that the woman that they made them change Saudi law so that he could live with her without having to marry her?
That sounds plausible.
Wasn't that a thing?
He is now playing, for those not caught up to speed on his athletic career. He is 39. He's in the zone that all of these athletes, these superstars we grew up watching are now, where they're like, I want to score 1,000 goals. That's literally a YouTube video, also separately, in which he wants to score 1,000 goals. And he's also playing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Making $1 zillion.
Which he needs, Pablo.
And that's
and he needs the YouTube money.
He needs the money.
That's the thing.
Let him get the bag, Pablo.
Why?
He needs it.
Why does he want to do any of this?
He
this
needs
is
it because
so beneath.
It needs to be more than last year. Otherwise, you're losing. You're dying. If you stop swimming,
I do think
die.
his expenses are probably quite high.
Yeah, but lower them then. Take Saudi money.
I like Katie as the Susie Orman of Cristiano Ronaldo's life.
Stop buying avocado toasts, okay? Invest. No, I feel like we live at a time when you could have money and then make passive money off it pretty easily.
Yes.
So when they make money that isn't passive, and I know they're also definitely making passive income, it's unfathomable.
Yeah.
There's no limit to the wealth that's being accrued, which I don't know. I don't want to get into politics, but it just feels like, why do you need all that? What do you need it for? Where are you putting it? Can I have some? What's up? Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you ever like, wow, I could empty one account and solve a country's entire crisis. One crisis, maybe a small one.
Yeah.
But I could solve it.
No, I think
like
some big ones. I think some big ones.
Right. But I'm saying, and you don't go like, oh, that's yikes.
Only Mr. Beast is doing that.
I feel confident that sort of line of questioning is not what he's going to answer on You Are Cristiano.
No, I don't think.
Also, the rhetorical questions that you just stacked up there were great. Very similar to You Are CR. And Rio Ferdinand would also have no idea when to kind of chime in. Because I didn't know either.
It is safe to say that was a spicy one.
Did you ever ask about her hobbies? Did you learn anything about her other than her relationship to Cristiano Ronaldo?
No. She loves her family.
Right.
And
do they have
Cristiano,
kids?
They do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this because there was a video in which he presented his kids with the gift of the gold million subscriber YouTube plaque.
Jesus Christ.
And they were psyched.
Which they earned. So they should have that.
What are we doing?
It all makes me very nauseous. I'm sorry. It's just so crazy.
Katie?
Why do we always wait till the end? And then mine is clearly something I read on the way over here.
Yeah.
Well,
because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why.
It's about friends. I read an article. Just shut up. Are you doing this because I told you that you had to pretend to be interested in it?
No, I am interested.
Just to show you guys how this show is produced.
I have a hard out in 12 minutes.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, that's all it's going to take. Oh, the Friendship Paradox. There was an article in the Atlantic. It was written by Olga Khazan. We've talked about this or around this multiple times on this podcast, how everybody's very lonely. Americans are very lonely, but that it's not due to lack of friends. 6,000 American adults in a survey of their relationships and friendships. Researchers found Americans reported having an average of about 4 or 5 friends.
That's plenty.
Which is similar to, I mean, it is. I don't know if you're joking, but
no.
I
mean that.
Which is similar to past estimates. Very few respondents, less than 4%, reported having no friends. And so the problem, they say, is that it's difficult to see your friend or to like make the connect, to actually do things with your friends. It's something about the lack of third spaces, which is a conversation we have a lot about, like where do people go to like do things, especially with like work changing and the telecommuting or whatever. But it's basically just saying that like it's the nature of connections are changing. And I would maybe argue that like this started with the word friend request becoming like a social media. It became like a thing you sent to somebody that I don't know if a day before you would have called a friend when you first got. I mean, I'm talking about Facebook, but I want to be clear. I don't think I've been on Facebook in like 7 years at least. I don't even think Dan and I are friends on Facebook. And
you're not one of the hundreds of millions of people who are friends with Cristiano Ronaldo on Facebook.
And that's the thing. It's like I think there's I don't know that it's like a direct cause, but these two things are related. Where it's like I do feel I have many friends. I don't see that many friends. This is me seeing my friends.
Well,
I
was gonna say,
but I'm seeing my friends right now.
Let's
I'm seeing my buddy.
Let's continue to thank you for pointing at me and
we're friends. We just want to spend 7 hours together in Arizona.
But this is
7 hours
to break the fourth wall. This show, in the way that we've been doing it, has been my way of addressing this problem.
Yeah, and is that okay or no?
It's the best I can do these days.
Yeah.
And I think, and so when Katie sent this story, I was like, of course Katie sent this story because Katie, I believe, has lots of friends. But in terms of how often Katie leaves the house,
very small amount of time. I'm like forcing myself to do it. I'm in my year of yes. I'm in my year of yes. But like
we
no.
buried the lead here.
But no. Like I'm still saying no.
Okay.
Hold on. The banner we're constructing for you, the year of yes, ... but no.
Listen, as a lady who's saying no a bunch, I'm like say yes more often than you used to.
Okay.
We'll put that on the banner too.
That's basically it. I'm trying to get myself to go. Like I think I'm going to go to for a high tea with a friend of mine this month. We're going to like get dressed and go to tea, like because it's like. I feel like
at
I'm
a fancy
watching.
Place?
Yeah.
How fancy?
Where?
I don't think it's that fancy.
Okay.
It's here-ish.
Tea and Sympathy?
It's around here somewhere. Sorry?
Tea and Sympathy?
No.
It's a place where I've gone to high tea in West Village.
No.
You've been to high tea?
Like,
I don't dress up.
I feel like I'm
no
watching.
one's invited me to high tea.
I feel like I'm watching
you
everybody
get tiny
live
sandwiches.
life.
Yeah, maybe I have been to high tea. I went to high tea in South Africa.
See what I mean? I feel like I'm watching everybody else live life. And then I'm here, and I feel like if I don't force myself out to do things, I'm going to disappear. And so that's I feel like that's a thing a lot of people feel. And I feel like if I didn't have a job like this, I would be really screwed because I wouldn't have the ability to come and talk and then have like 6 people I'll never meet go, hey, I also, thank you for saying that. I feel that way too. So it's like I really feel for people that have this. At the same time, I don't know if it's also because of my lack of children and that's a plan we will not be. So don't even tell me that I'm going to.
This is a
I'm at the
separate
point
second
now where
banner.
I'm getting sick of here and people be like, you'll change your mind. It's just a decision that I've made. And I anytime I'm making plans with a friend who has kids, especially, I'm just going to say it, especially if they're a woman, if they're the mother of the children, I feel like I don't want to ask for their time because I know their time is being asked of a lot. And so I feel like but I still consider those people my best friends. And they're probably like, well, I never see her. And I'm like, but that doesn't matter to me. If somebody were to be like, name your 5, you're on the list. I just think you are swamped. You have 2 children. You work a crazy job. Where am I? I'm here. If you need a friend, call me. I'm here. But I don't want to demand of your time. Does that make sense?
Right. No,
I know you're men, but
no. As the father of a daughter whose mother
Girl dad
is my ex-girlfriend who's now my wife.
oh my God, that was terrifying for a second.
Unbelievable.
I hated that. Why'd you do it?
Awful tension building maneuver.
Why'd he do it?
Because narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
a
bad.
journey.
Everybody
It's a
hated it.
I
journey.
hated it. It made
Everybody
me sad.
hated
I felt
it.
sad for her.
I have a couple of thoughts on this. Number one is that I have probably
to go?
I have to go. I have 6 minutes to explain this.
Herbie's outside. He's beeping.
So I probably have too many friends, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me, but that's just
Look
the
at this
situation.
guy.
And there's 2 things I do. Number one
It's
is
been
I
static.
send a lot of texts that just say, "How's my guy?"
Okay, good.
Yeah, and
Good
that's a
strategy.
huge, and it's like a low effort.
Kevin Clark's Guide to Friendship. Number 1, send texts that say,
Just like random Tuesday afternoon, just how's my guy? You
how's
know?
my guy?
And you know, you just send out those feelers and you'll get them back.
Sure.
The other thing I do is I think this comes down to my childhood. I've had very specific interests that are not really connected to each other. So like growing up, I was a huge fan of punk rock and college football.
Right.
And like reading about World War II and all of these things. And there was not going to be a unicorn friend who was just going to stay with me from 9 a.m. on a Saturday when game day comes on until 11:30 when we're going to go see Hot Water Music, right? Like that's just not going to happen. And so I ended up with like hyper specific groups of friends. And then I've still had that. And I think that helps because then you automatically have something in common with them. If you're looking for someone who's going to go do everything with you.
Well, this is also mentioned in this article. She says that like a lot of people have friends that are individual friends in different places.
The author of Modern Friendship, Anna Goldfarb, said, quote, "We have lots of friends that tend to only share a common history with us, not with each other."
But you develop those friendships more. They contain, as they say in football. And like they start out as your friend who you're going to golf with. And then it becomes, well, we're just going to start drinking and then we're going to go see Oppenheimer. Like that.
I'm so bad at breaking contain in that way. Silos. I have a life full of silos. Because I'm not and I think I am inert in this way. I recognize that this is a problem. It's weird that I have like friends that I've known for such a long time who've never met my other friends.
Right.
And so it speaks to another thing that this article talks about, which is back in the day, because you'd be meeting most of your friends at the same spot, church, as we've talked about, the bowling alley.
All my friends were from church back in the day.
Is that true?
Yeah. No. What?
Oh, I don't know. You read the
You
Old
were half
Testament.
listening. That's why you didn't know. You
No,
would've
I'm
known
trying
if
to
you
get
were
on
listening full.
Meadowlark Wi-Fi for my meeting at 1.
Kevin's texting Troy Aikman, "How's my guy?"
I am.
So am I,
He's in the south.
actually.
He's in the south of France, and he's great.
But the point being that we are not meeting groups of people. We're meeting individuals now. And I think you're on. I hadn't thought about this, but yes, the very premise of what is a friend when you're doing a survey like this, I think has been fundamentally cheapened as a definition because we're calling lots of people. We need to reclaim the word friend. We need to probably come up with a different term. Or
We also just need to come up with a term for like, oh, I know him.
An acquaintance.
I know her.
An acquaintance. We have it.
acquaintance.
But we don't. But
That's
it
too-
feels
nah,
like
that's-
it almost
that's-
feels like a slight.
We need
like
something
you
between
don't,
acquaintance and friend.
We're too sensitive. to...
Malcolm Gladwell,
The weak
in one of
ties
his
thing.
books, says if you know someone, the definition of that is you sit down across them on a train and you can identify each other without saying it. That's if you know someone. And
What?
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 What? If you sit down across from someone on a train.
Okay. First of
you
all,
can
why are we
each
sitting in
say-
those seats? Why are we facing each other?
Because you're on it. Because there's not that many seats. Because it's full of your friends.
then
the
just a
people you
person
barely
I
know.
know
It's
came
a
onto the
train.
train
It's a
and sat
train of
across from
people
me?
you barely know. So it's packed.
Inception ass train.
But we're sitting across from each other and we know each other. And the only way to I just
that's
have
the
to
definition.
identify them.
No, if you can identify
if on a crowded train a person came and sat across from you and you went, "Oh my God!"
Yes.
that's a person you know.
Yeah.
Not if I can go.
That's what he's
"Yeah,
saying.
Yeah, I know who that is.
No, but then
identify him.
But you're incepting them. What I'm saying is,
I know who this is.
No, but you
I've seen
wouldn't.
this guy
But you're
before.
cheating. You're cheating if you go, "Oh my." Katie, it's me, Katie Nolan.
No, I didn't say it's me. I said it's you.
But
I said
then
it's you.
You're talking, you're identifying
no, that's
yourself.
Stupid.
You're
Sorry,
doing
Gladwell.
signals.
You had a lot of bops. This
You're
is not
done.
one of them.
You are done,
that's so
Gladwell.
Stupid. That's
You're
not
done.
how you know. You know somebody if you know what.
You are
That's so
cooked.
fake deep. Am I missing something? I'm not.
That feels like a good example of what friendship is.
Yeah. This is friendship.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are my friends, and I won't name them because I would be terrified to know how they classify me. You know, but I think of a lot of people as friends of mine.
Is that what you found out today, Katie Nolan, at the end of a show where we say what we found out?
Yeah, I found out that I am Cristiano Ronaldo.
I found out that my guy.
What's up, my guy? How's it
doing
going?
great.
I'm doing great.
You're doing great.
I'm doing great.
He's a phone full of acquaintance / friends.
We knew that.
Yeah.
He can't put the thing down. He stays in touch.
Relentless.
Not me. Look, my texts are stacked up.
Hey, Kevin,
It's fully blank.
Kevin, what did you learn today? What did you find out?
I learned why people love to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, which is the trophies and the winning.
Oh, God.
Which I didn't think about before Ferdinand told me.
Right.
And also, I was worried.
Also, don't forget the lifestyle.
No, but I would also say that I learned what Ronaldo's wife hates the most, which is the lies and the injustices.
Yeah.
She signed
I
off
thought
on
she
it.
liked it. I thought she liked the lies and the injustices. And there were no specific injustices, just the lies.
No, just those general
hate the
lies.
lies.
I hate when people lie about me.
I have to go.
Yeah. The ultimate.
I love when people lie about me.
Thank you for coming in on time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. What's that about?
That was a lie.
Oh,
That was a
good.
lie.
Very funny. I tried.
Kevin's literally walking out of the studio.
Literally, people who pay me need me to be on a Zoom.
I'm here for free. You're here.
Yeah, I'm here for free.
Both
As
here for
we
free. It's
say,
Pablo's fault. We should be redirecting
Look, guys,
our energy.
I didn't say that I
We could've done
hated-
this tomorrow.
I didn't say that I hated injustices. I'm fine with them. Pablo Torre Finds Out is produced by Michael Antonucci, Walter Avaroma, Ryan Cortez, Sam Daywig, Juan Galindo, Patrick Kim, Neely Lohman, Rob McRae, Rachel Miller-Howard, Ethan Schreier, Carl Scott, Matt Sullivan, Chris Tuminello, and Juliet Warren. Studio engineering by RG Systems, sound design by NGW Post, our theme song by John Bravo. All of us will see you on Tuesday.